Every video I see about logistics games talks about the same ones year after year, and they are always the same single-player games where you're only completing objectives for yourself or for Steam achievements. What if you used your logistical gaming skills in real time for a real purpose? Today we are going to talk about my favorite logistics game of 2023, Foxhole. All of the dots you see moving on the screen here are real players. And this is the start of a Foxhole war. The war is fought on the front lines with infantry, tanks, and artillery, and in the back line, far from the front, is where the real magic happens. Every bullet, every weapon, every vehicle, every artillery shell, and building in Foxhole is player-made. The front line cannot progress without players in the back line who work on logistics every day, and logistics cannot win the war unless players push forward on the front line, which means that everyone in Foxhole has a role to play to help win the war. Foxhole is one of those games where time just melts away. I've played almost 1,000 hours in Foxhole, and about 90% of that time has been doing logi. I've spent my time gathering, crafting weapons, and delivering supplies to the front to help our soldiers. I've also built facilities to increase our production in the backline and helped provide strategies where resources are needed the most. I love having the ability to look on the map and to see where resources are and where they are needed. If you love any kind of supply chain management games, then this game is for you. The game's complexity and depth are key factors in its addictiveness. There is a wide variety of roles that you can play within Foxhole, each with their own unique objectives and responsibilities. So what is Foxhole? Foxhole is a massive multiplayer game where thousands of players shape the outcome of a persistent online war that can last weeks. Yes, you heard that correctly. The world is online 24/7 and the war is constantly going on until there is a clear winner. It's very similar to PlanetSide 2, except instead of spawn camping your enemy in their back territory, you actually capture and destroy their base and the war ends and a new one starts a couple days later. Foxhole's logistics gameplay loop is simple but shockingly addictive. Collect resources to refine them and then to craft them into weapons and tools, which in turn help you keep your frontline moving forward. There are many different types of resources to gather and different types of crafting to specialize in. Unlike Factorio, you don't have unlimited space to expand your facility, unfortunately. Factory must still grow, but it must grow with other players. You must work with other real players who are also building their own facilities. You must share resources, divide labor responsibilities, and solve logistical challenges together. There are dedicated clans within Foxhole that have hundreds of members that focus on specific logistics. Some will focus on building offensive vehicles like tanks, and others may focus on building trains and railroads so that every territory can be supplied efficiently. You are basically playing Railroad Tycoon, but with a purpose. Another reason why this gameplay loop is so addictive is because your efforts are actually being used by other players and contributing to something much bigger than yourself. Everything you do in Foxhole is for your team and for the war machine. There is great satisfaction in bringing supplies to the front. If you hadn't delivered those weapons or bandages or artillery shells, then the front may have been lost. Delivering supplies can sometimes be dangerous. Enemy soldiers can sneak behind your front line and disrupt your logistics, making it so that the front line can't be supplied. Logistics players must communicate with combat players to ensure a safe delivery to the front. As you progress through the war, you will unlock new technology and production methods that require more advanced planning and optimization. These are all the different types of plans and strategies used by clans when doing logistics within Foxhole. Once a war has ended, soldiers plan for the next war, finding new ways to make their bases and facilities run more efficiently. The game's creation has led to numerous fan-made resources and websites which provide new players with information they need to get started, not to mention all the countless mods available to add quality of life features to the game's content. With almost 1,000 hours of playtime, I can attest to the game's addictive nature and its complexity. However, it is important to note that this game may not be for everyone. The game's lack of actual story, steep learning curve, and underwhelming graphics and over-the-top view are a huge turnoff for some players. Even I hated the top-down view experience at first, but it eventually grew on me. You learn over time that Foxhole could not be played any other way. Foxhole is a completely open-ended sandbox as well. You're largely left to your own devices. There is not a specific objective besides winning the war. This can be overwhelming for some players who prefer games with more structure and direction. There are tutorials in Foxhole that talk about the mechanics briefly, but almost everyone skips them.
Hello, sir. Get in my car.
Okay, sounds good. Hello. You are better off using the proxy chat in the game and asking players to help you learn logistics in Foxhole.
We're going to a magical place where another man will teach you.
Oh.
I'm just here to pick you up. I'm like your chaperone.
Which I actually enjoyed more. It made the game feel more alive and more like an MMO. Foxhole players in the game are some of the nicest gamers I have ever met. Like any community, just ignore the Reddit community mainly and random trolls in game. Foxhole receives regular updates every couple of months, and the devs are constantly trying to find new ways to make logistics more engaging and interesting for players. Even after playing the game for hundreds and hundreds of hours, I still find new ways to approach the game and find new challenges to overcome. If you enjoy games that require logistics with a purpose, careful planning, strategic resource management, and building optimization, then you should definitely check out Foxhole. If after this video you are still on the fence about getting Foxhole, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about Foxhole down in the comments below. If you are someone that has already played Foxhole, let me know in the comments what you like most about Foxhole logistics. Thank you as always for all of your support. Make sure to subscribe for more Foxhole content. Have you supplied your front today? Cheers.